Hey, what's up, guys? Hope this video finds you in a good spot. Hope you're all doing well. Today is Friday, March 27th, and we've got 8 Major League Baseball games on the board to discuss. So far, through 2 days in the season, both days I have been profitable. This show has produced winners. We've made some money, so that's good. Let's go ahead and keep that momentum rolling into day 3. Day 3, tomorrow, Friday, March 27th. The New York Yankees taking on the San Francisco Giants at 1:35 p.m. The first game on the board, it's going to be Cam Schlittler for the New York Yankees going up against Robbie Ray for the Giants. Looking at this pitching matchup, I personally have this at a very equal pitching matchup. I don't think there's a big difference. I think that Robbie Ray is more proven. He's been in Major League Baseball for a very long time. But he wasn't nearly as dominant last year as we've seen him in the past. And he's going up against a very difficult Yankees lineup to face. The Yankees lineup is amongst the best in Major League Baseball. Meanwhile, Cam Schlittler has a much more reasonable matchup going up against the San Francisco Giants, who were quite anemic all of last year, and they were anemic in Game 1. I look at the starting pitching matchup, I think it's equal. I look at the lineups, I give the Yankees a significant advantage there. And when you look at the bullpens, I think the Yankees also have a significant advantage. So for me, I don't know why this game is so close to a pick'em. We took the Yankees in Game 1 a couple days ago, and it worked out well for us. And I think we got to go right back to the well here. I think the Yankees are just a superior team to the Giants. And the starting pitching matchup for me is equal. That's how I see it. I think it's pretty much the same handicap that we had in Game 1. So let's go right back to it. Yankees money line, minus 125. I think it's a really good price. And we'll move on. We'll just keep it rolling here. So, Yankees money line is my first pick. Just think they're the overall better team. Think the starting pitching matchup is equal. And Yankees have the better offense and the better bullpen. Trust them in the late innings. Okay. Moving on, the Sacramento Athletics visiting the Toronto Blue Jays. Okay, so the Blue Jays are at home in this game. The Blue Jays in their first game of the year, opening day for them. I like both of these offenses. The A's offense is very nice. Okay, I'm just going to bring this offense up quickly here. Funny how they're still listed as Oakland on this website here. Long gone are those days. But, I mean, Nick Kurtz, Shea Langoliers, Tyler Soderstrom, Brent Rooker, Jacob Wilson, Lawrence Butler, Max Muncy, Jeff McNeil. This is a good lineup. And you can look at the numbers from last year. They hit the ball. Okay, so the A's, I think, are going to score runs tomorrow. It's Kevin Gausman. Sorry, I didn't give you these starting pitchers. Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays, Luis Severino for the Athletics. So 2 starting pitchers who are okay, they're quality, but are they shutdown aces? No, they're not. And then you look at the Blue Jays offense, and I'm pretty sure everybody here that's watching this video can remember to last year when the Blue Jays went on that run all the way to the World Series. That offense was fun to watch, man. They don't strike out. They just make contact. They put the ball in play. They get hits. They pass the bats along to the next guy. And, that's how baseball is supposed to be played. That they're not all about power. They do have some power in the lineup, which is great. You're going to need that, but they are able to put the ball in play and take good at bats, and I really appreciate that from the Blue Jays. These are 2 really good offensive teams against 2 starting pitchers who I don't trust all that much. I think they're quality, but I don't think they're top line. And then you get to the bullpens, okay? And so the A's bullpen is horrible. We can just go ahead and look at it. Last year, they were amongst the worst. They were down there, bottom 6. They ranked 24th out of 30 teams. Toronto was a little better, but that was their biggest problem. That was why they didn't win the World Series. If you remember, their bullpen was just too weak, and they gave that game up in Game 7. They had it, and unfortunately the bullpen coughed it up, and that's a common theme with them. So overall, I like the 2 offenses. Rogers Center typically is a ballpark that runs are able to be scored in. And these 2 pitchers, I don't necessarily love. I just think these offenses are going to get after these guys. So I think the total is a little bit too low at 8.5. I think there's going to be runs scored, and I also think both bullpens are pretty liable to give up runs, especially the Athletics. I think the Blue Jays can score. I think the Blue Jays should score 5 or 6 runs at least themselves, and then, let the A's come in and add some for that. So, yeah, I'm taking the over. I'm on the over 8.5 runs at what price did I get here? Yeah, over 8.5 runs at -108 in the Athletics against the Blue Jays. I just think that the offenses are strong here. I think they're going to be able to get after the starting pitchers, and then also I'd like to fade the A's bullpen. And also Toronto's bullpen is also not their strong suit. So give me the over 8.5 at -108 in the Athletics against the Blue Jays. All right, moving on to the next game on the board. That is the Colorado Rockies and the Miami Marlins. I don't have a bet for this game. I don't like this game. I think the Rockies, I looked at this game quite a bit, and I just don't like the game. So, yeah, I'm not betting this game. The over is a very popular bet in this game. Hearing a lot of chatter all across the internet about this over. I mean, people are really high on this Colorado Rockies offense. People are, I hear people talking about how the Rockies offense is much improved. They've added, Jake McCarthy, and who else did they add? Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up really quickly here. Jake McCarthy, Willie Castro. These guys aren't going to change the lineup. I'm sorry. I mean, they were a historically bad lineup last year on the road. At home, they can hit. In Colorado, these guys hit. But on the road last year, it was god-awful. And I'm going to have to see it before I just go out on a limb and start betting the Colorado Rockies to score runs. So, yeah, I'm not betting this game. But, yeah, I think the Marlins at that price is kind of ridiculous, too. I don't know, the Marlins laying -170. That just tells you how bad they think the Rockies are going to be. This ballpark in general, it's not a hitter-friendly ballpark. So, betting it over there with the Rockies, who are just a horrible offense. And then, Sandy Alcantara, he was much better in the second half last year. So, this could be a bounce-back year for him. It's Sandy Alcantara against Kyle Freeland. That's why the over is popular, is because you got the Rockies, throwing Kyle Freeland up there, who's horrible. He's really bad, really, really bad. And their bullpen's terrible. Colorado's bullpen is very bad as well. So that's why people like that over. But, people are expecting the Marlins, and it's a low total. It's at 7.5, so it's enticing, 7.5. You got the Rockies, it's Freeland and that Rockies bullpen at 7.5. That's why people want to go take it. But, man, you're going out on a limb trusting that Rockies offense, unless you're just thinking the Marlins are going to explode, which, I'm not so sure about that, by the way. I like the Marlins. I like them cautiously. I'm cautiously optimistic on the Marlins, but I'm not all in on them that they're going to go off. I'm not sure. So these are two teams that I need to see. I need to see it. So I'm not involved in this game at all. So those are my thoughts. Moving on. Royals Braves. I got a pick for this one. This is a good one. This is a really good game in my opinion. So you got the Braves throwing Chris Sale up there against Cole Ragans for the Royals. So Ragans for the Royals, Sale for the Braves. And I give the Braves a starting pitching edge. I just think that Chris Sale is a better pitcher than Cole Ragans. I feel comfortable saying that on this video. I feel comfortable, and if anyone wants to come debate me on that, I'm willing to debate it. Let's go. I would love to debate that. I think Chris Sale is better than Cole Ragans. Okay. You look at the lineups. I looked at this in depth. I like both lineups. Okay. I really like both lineups. I think that slightly I give the edge to Atlanta. I do. Even with all the injuries and the suspension issues they've had, I still think they have a slightly better lineup than Kansas City. You know, Acuna, Drake Baldwin, Matt Olson, Austin Riley. You got Yastrzemski, Ozzie Albies, Dom Smith, Michael Harris, Mauricio Dubon. So I like that bottom, the 7 through 9. I mean, I like the 1 through 6, obviously. And then the 7 through 9 it's not terrible. Whereas Kansas City, I really like their 1 through 6. Michael Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez, Jack Caglianone, Jonathan India. After that, I'm like, who is this guy, Carter Jensen? You know, who is this guy? And then Isaac Collins, you know, and Kyle Isbell. So the 7, 8, 9 for the Royals, I'm not in love with. I think that the edge slightly goes to the Braves in terms of offense. And then in terms of bullpen, I also give the Braves a slight edge. So overall, I think the Braves are just a better team, and they're at home as well. So I think it's going to be a bounce-back year for the Braves. And, yeah, I'm on the Braves here. I got the Braves money line at -130. I just think the Braves are going to win this game. I think they have the better starting pitcher. I think they're slightly a better offensive team, and they also have a slightly better bullpen as well. We can go ahead and look at the bullpens quickly. The Braves, Raisel Iglesias, Robert Suarez, Dylan Lee, Aaron Bummer. I mean, those are quality arms out of the pen. Kansas City has quality arms too, by the way. We'd be best to not forget that. Kansas City has a very quality arms. Carlos Estevez, Matthew Strom, Lucas Urseg, John Schreiber. So I think it's pretty equal. But overall, yeah, I'm on the Braves. I think the Braves at home is the play. I think they're going to win the game. I think they're overall just a better team in general. Okay, next game on the board is Angels-Astros. This is one of the games that I got wrong earlier today. So, you know, we'll hold ourselves, on March 26th. On Thursday, I got this one wrong. LA Angels, Jose Soriano actually pitched really well, so I got that. I didn't expect him to pitch that well. So tip the cap to him. And yeah, I'm an Angels fan, so I'm happy. You know, great. Angels start out 1-0. It's awesome. It's a great start to the year for us. And you know what? I don't have a bet in this game because you know what? I want to pump the brakes a little bit on Houston. I am not sure about them. I think these offenses are actually pretty equal. The Angels have an offense that can score some runs. All right, so I think the Angels are going to score runs this year. We saw that last year. I think they're going to continue to do that. I like the Angels' offense. The Astros, as far as their offense, I still like it. I know they didn't score runs today. I know they struggled today, but I still think they're going to be a quality offense. It's one game. We can't change. I'm not going to change my opinion that much based off of one game. Now, if this becomes a trend and it goes for a long time, then okay, we can have a conversation. But for right now, we're not changing our opinion based off of one game. So, I still think these offenses are very equal. Starting pitching matchup is Yusei Kikuchi for the Angels up against Mike Burrows for the Houston Astros. I think it's really equal. You know, Kikuchi's on the later stages of his career. Burrows is up-and-coming guy. He was with the Pirates last year, had a pretty solid year. I think these guys are really equal. And then you look at the bullpens, and I give a significant edge to the Astros. So I think the line at -150 is pretty fair. I don't feel comfortable betting the Astros at all. No. So, you know, I don't want to be betting the Astros again after they lost today. And I think that the Angels have even a better chance to win, this game with Kikuchi pitching. And, I just think the Angels have a solid chance to win this game. So I'm not going to be betting it. But, yeah, I think the Angels are... it's a good start to the year. Good to see Trout get a home run. That was awesome. Shonwell hit a home run. So great to see the Halos come out and get a victory. But are they going to make it 2-0? I'm skeptical on that. And, yeah, I just figure this is the game I don't really want to be involved in. I think both offenses can get going, but all right, we'll move on. All right, Padres-Tigers. This is a fun one. Framber Valdez for the Tigers. Michael King for the Padres. This was a game that I stayed away from on Thursday, and I went back and forth. Was unsure. But I have a bet in this game, Friday, March 27th. I got a bet in this one. And so Framber Valdez against Michael King. Michael King has been horrible in spring training. He has looked terrible. So he had an injury last year. Not sure if he's, going to get back to where he was before the injury. We know he was dominant, the last few years with the Padres, but injury last year and in a really bad spring. He pitched horrible in spring. And Framber Valdez, this guy's really consistent. I think he's been doing it for a long time. I think he's more reliable than Michael King is. I think I hold him in a higher regard than Michael King. I think I'm me personally, I'm higher on Framber Valdez. So I do think the Tigers have a pitching advantage, a starting pitching advantage in this game. And they're underdogs. So right away, we've got to look to the Tigers' side. When you look at the offenses, I think they're equal. Today, the Tigers exploded, and I think, you look at the offenses, they're pretty darn equal. You look at the bullpens, okay, you want to give the Padres that slight edge in the bullpen. Okay, overall, we're looking at a game where I think the Tigers have a starting pitching advantage. I think the offenses are equal. And I think the Padres have a slight bullpen advantage. So give me the Tigers at plus money. Plus 108 is the price. I don't think they should be underdogs here. I mean, they won today easily. And I think they're going to make it 2-0. I think the Padres are in actually some serious trouble. I think that their starting pitching is an issue. And we're going to find that out tomorrow. We'll find out how good is Michael King, But I'm going to back the Tigers at a nice plus money price. I think they're going to be a really good team again this year in the playoff race in the AL. So give me the Tigers. All right, Guardians Mariners. This is a good one. This is going to be a really good one. So Gavin Williams pitching for the Guardians. George Kirby pitching for the Mariners. It's going to be 52 degrees. 8-mile-an-hour wind is going to be blowing in, and this is at T-Mobile Park, the most pitcher-friendly ballpark in Major League Baseball. Two really good pitchers and two offenses that I don't love. We talked yesterday about how the Guardians' offense is really bad. Well, they exploded today for 6 runs. Their young prospect, Chase DeLauder, had 2 home runs. Shout out Brendan Corbett. Your guy had a nice day today. Jose Ramirez had an RBI double. Brian Rocchio had an RBI, had a double. So seemed like the Guardians offense kind of exploded today, and I am not sold on it one bit. It was one game. They had one good game. That's great. Tomorrow they got to face George Kirby. And I just think that this is a good spot for George Kirby. I think he pitches well. I think he shuts down the Guardians. I think we start to see the Guardians go back to what they really are, which is a mediocre to bad offensive team. And on the other side, I think Gavin Williams is going to pitch really well. I think Gavin Williams is going to shove. I really like Gavin Williams. I love his stuff. And the Mariners offense, they're not that good in general. And then especially at home in that weather, 52-degree, cold weather, wind blowing in, pitcher-friendly ballpark, just everything points towards the under. You got 2 good pitchers. So I got the under 7.5 at -122. A little bit juiced, but I like the number. I like the number a lot. And I haven't even mentioned that these are 2 of the best bullpens as well. So 2 of the best bullpens in Major League Baseball, 2 really good starting pitchers, 2 not great offenses. I do like the Mariners offense, but I like them away from home, not at home, which is interesting. And it makes sense because of their ballpark. So yeah, I'm on the under there, under 7.5 at -122 in that game there. Okay, excuse me. All right, and then finally, last but not least, the last game that we have not talked about for Friday, March 27th. The Arizona Diamondbacks visiting the Los Angeles Dodgers, Game 2 of this series. We saw the Dodgers win 8-2 in game 1 on Thursday. We bet on the Dodgers. If you watch the video, that was a nice win for us. And so let's think about this game here on Friday. I mean, you got Emmett Sheehan starting for the Dodgers. You got Ryan Nelson starting for the Diamondbacks. Two guys I don't love in this spot. I think the Dodgers offense is prolific, and I don't use that word lightly at all. We saw it tonight. There's no weak spot in that lineup. 1 through 9 can do damage. And yeah, it's going to be really hard for opposing teams to get them out. You know, the Dodgers are going to have to pretty much go through a slump. They're going to have to go through their own cold stretch to get themselves out, because I don't see other teams dealing with this lineup at all. I'm sorry. They look just ridiculous. I mean, and we know at home the Dodgers are a much better team. They hit very well at home. And so Ryan Nelson has pitched well against the Dodgers in his career. And he had a really good year last year. You know, I want to give him his flowers. I want to give him his credit. He had a really good year last year. But this is the Dodgers. And, you know, we saw what they did tonight, or, you know, we saw what they did in game 1. You know, I don't think Ryan Nelson's going to go into Dodger Stadium and shut down the Dodgers. I would be very surprised. Okay, so I see the Dodgers exploding again. Not to mention the Diamondbacks have one of the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball, if not the worst. I mean, it's going to be up there. It's one of the worst. You got the Dodgers throwing up Emmett Sheehan, who has been horrible in spring training. Okay, he's been really bad. And I like the Diamondbacks lineup, by the way. I like Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Geraldo Perdomo had that home run tonight. Alec Thomas is a good player in there. Let's see. Let's just pull it up so I don't seem like I'm dumb here. Let's pull up the names. Gabriel Moreno, Nolan Arenado is a nice addition. Carlos Santana. So they definitely revamped this lineup. I like it. I like the lineup. I think they can score runs, especially off a guy like Emmett Sheehan, who they've had success against. So I think the Diamondbacks are going to be good for a few runs. The Dodgers bullpen is a little bit so-so. I'm still not sold on it completely yet. So, yeah, I love this play. This is one of my favorite plays of the day. I'm on the over 8.5 runs at minus, what did I get? It's going up quickly, so you're probably not going to be able to get this, but got the over 8.5 at minus 113. Yeah, I think that's an absolute steal. So that's going to do it. That's going to do it for me. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plays for tomorrow. We're sitting out on 2 games. We've been profitable in each of the first 2 days of Major League Baseball. And so let's hope to continue that into day 3, Friday, March 27th. A quick recap on the plays in this video. Taking the Yankees money line at minus 125 for a little over a unit. Taking the over 8.5 in Blue Jays Athletics at minus 108 for 1 unit. And unfortunately, that number is going to be gone. So probably not going to be able to get that one. Taking the Atlanta Braves money line at minus 133 for 1.1 units. Taking the Tigers money line at plus 108. Nice little plus money play there for 1 unit. And taking the under 7.5 total runs at minus 122 in Cleveland Guardians at Seattle Mariners. So 6 plays, under in Guardians, Mariners, over in Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Tigers money line, Yankees money line, Braves money line, over 8.5 in Athletics and Blue Jays. And let's keep it going, guys. Let's make some more money. Thanks for watching. Leave your picks and predictions in the comments. Let me know if you agree with my predictions and my plays. If you disagree, I'd love to hear why. Let me know why you disagree. Let's have discussions in the comments. Have a great evening. Have a great day, and we'll keep in touch.